Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to Evening Devotion. If you didn't already catch it, on the community tab on the latest post, I shared a link to a video that Ken Johnson did yesterday or the day before. Very good video. They've been bringing out a lot of information where they've been taking the New Testament and translating it over through the Hebrew. And what they're finding is that our current New Testament, when they translate it to Hebrew, actually just has more information, more descriptive information that clarifies a lot of things. And they're really getting on the bandwagon about it. It's a slow process. And what's interesting is that since they've been doing this, anybody involved has been coming under extreme attack for doing it. Also, the stuff they're sharing about the Dead Sea Scrolls and the DSS calendar, they've been coming under pretty heavy attack, Ken Johnson and all them associated with it, because of it. Because there's information, and a very important information in there. Now, he said in that video, I think it was near the end, that he was doing a Q&A at the end, and he talked, somebody asked a question, he talked about next year, this is the final Jubilee year here, and then the final generation or Jubilee, 50 years, happens starting March 2026. And he talked about how excited he is to share new information that's been brought forward next year. So that would be a channel I would subscribe to because, and I've seen it happen a few times. I was actually talking to Sister Nina about it in a phone call a while back. Ken and Josh Peck, he has a channel called Daily Renegade and a website. They both, when they talk about that stuff, they act like there's information they're not sharing. And there's a couple of times where they've started to talk and then changed the subject or paused and held back. And Ken even openly said, there's some information I can't share. So they have a whole bunch of very interesting information, and they smile when they say it. So it's good stuff, but they can't share it yet. So we're looking forward to what they're going to share. And I think it's just going to confirm what we already know. Next year is a very interesting year. Very interesting. It's going to start a series, a time frame that the Essenes in the Dead Sea Scrolls talk about as being the final 50 years where everything is going to unfold, and then the millennial reign. It's interesting. So if Psalm 90:10 is to be taken into account for the end times as a reference, and 1948 is basically the year when all this kicked off, when Israel became a nation again, the fig tree generation, then 2028 would be the 80th year. We're going to be in 2026 in a couple of days. Very interesting. So anyway, he's got a bunch of information he shared. And something interesting, too, in that post, I put a timestamp in there. And that was a part of the Q&A where he was answering a question, but he mentioned the people that rose with Jesus. Remember how I told you we have writings of accounts of these people that rose, and some of them, they went back into the city to their families, and he mentioned that in his response. We have some of the early church fathers actually talking about certain individuals, specific individuals that rose and went back, they came back to everybody. So, we have the accounts of it. People talk about that. And again, I bring that up because I've mentioned before, people want to discount the resurrection of Christ. Okay, great. Well, what about the people that rose with him? You don't want to take Christ and his resurrection as the evidence? Well, what about the ones that came up out of the grave with him and went back to their families? We have written account of it. So if you can't just bring yourself to believe Christ rose, what about all them people? Why did they rise? Them rising and the accounts that have been written down of them this guy's been dead for 10 years, 12 years, whatever, and he came back. And them recording that proves Christ did rise, because they wouldn't have risen otherwise. Very interesting. Very, very, very interesting, guys. So next year is going to be exciting. I think next year is going to be an eye-opener, not only for that stuff, but for what we're going to see happening in the world. I think we're going to see some weird and wild things. You thought this year was weird and this year was weird. Next year, I think is really going to tip the scales. So again, I think we're just going to see more and more confirming what we've already discovered and what we already know. So what do? Keep hanging on, because we know time is short. We know things are wrapping up. We're not going to be here for a lot of the stuff that's supposed to unfold, because it doesn't pertain to us. That's what this next little block of time is going to be. And 50 years, a lot can happen in 50 years. I know. I'm 54. I can literally recall when TVs were a piece of furniture. Not just a flat screen to hang on the wall. It was a cabinet. I remember we had to turn the dial to change channels. And if you were lucky, like in down in Corpus, we had 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 12, and 14. That was when you could get the reception. So I remember, we didn't have internet. We didn't have cell phones. When I was growing up, most people didn't even have an answering machine. When you got home from work in the evening, chances are you were going to get phone calls, because that's when everybody talked to each other, because nobody could get a hold of anybody any other time. I mean, I grew up in a time when some places were still using switchboards with switchboard operators. Kid you not. In fact, I think there's still a few around today. Kid you not. Kids nowadays have no clue what these are. I grew up in a time when there were phones on every corner. If there was a 4-way corner, there was a public phone out there you put quarters in. You had to carry quarters or go get change in order to make a phone call on it. 5 cents, 10 cents, 25 cents. And you always run up. If you walk past one, stick your finger in the slot, check for somebody's change that got dropped in there. Because if your call was short, they give you the money back. Check for quarters. Go buy candy with it or something. A lot's changed in 50 years. Don't even get me started on cars. They got cars now that drive themselves. You had to drive your car back then. You better hang on to it. So yeah, a lot can happen in 50 years. A lot. So it would not be any surprise if the Lord bounced us out of here early on, and then a whole bunch of stuff unfolded after the fact. I don't know if that's what's going to happen. I'm not the Lord. I don't know these things. But it's going to be interesting to watch. However much we get to see. Ken also made a very interesting thing too. If you get a chance to watch that video, watch the whole thing. He also was answering a question in the Q&A. The Q&As are important in his videos because he always ends up sharing information he didn't share in the video. But he talked about, because somebody was asking about the rapture, and, we're going to be here, people are going to see it. And he talked about, there's a possibility. The Bible says we'll be changed, but there's a possibility, people may walk around a little bit. We may see glorified people, family and friends, and they may walk around for a day or 2 or 3. Who knows? I kind of had that theory, we don't know. But it's nice to see, people smarter than me also have that consideration in their mind too, that there's a possibility that could happen. It very well could. We may see the dead rise. I think we will. Happen once, can happen again. I tell you, I would be awestruck, but it would not surprise me if I got up one day and I heard something or something happened, and I walked into the other room and my grandmother and my dad are standing in the living room. Would not surprise me a bit. Would not surprise me a bit. So anyway, if you get a chance to watch that video, he is a really good resource for good information, stuff that you're not going to hear anywhere else, because he's one of the only people that has access to it and is addressing it. So definitely worth subscribing to his channel and listening to what he has to say. Because like I said, he shares a lot of good information. Very, very interesting information. And he's very excited about this new stuff that's going to come out next year. I think that they've been forced to be quiet about it until next year. Why they had to do that, I don't know. But he has alluded a few times, sometimes very subtly, sometimes almost out and out. There's some stuff we can't share. So, and even him and Josh were doing one here a while back, and they were talking about that. So, anyway, sub to his channel and catch his videos when you can. He's got, like I said, he's got great stuff. Tonight we're going to read out of Matthew 10:34. I came not to send peace on earth, but a sword. He came to separate people. Do not think that I came to bring peace on earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. I've come to separate people. Wonder why you don't get along with family members? This is why. We're going to read this in the context. This is why. Now is not the time for everybody to come to a place of agreement. Obviously, we want our family members to be saved, but there's a good chance it's not going to happen. So if you're in a situation like that, don't be surprised. The Lord is separating us, the believers, out. He's separating us out from the rest of the populace. This is normal. This should happen. Now, of course, people are going to band together in the tribulation and be helping each other. But right now, because of the way things are, because it's been so long, people, and because of the weird ideas people have about Christianity, because of the false teachers and all these other nonsense going on, they're very separated on this. They don't want this. You'll see signs on these colleges and that, bring Jesus back, we'll kill him again, stuff like that, stupid stuff. Well, you can't kill him again. He is glorified. And I do not wish you luck in trying. In fact, I encourage you to not do so. It will not end well. All right, so let's get... looks like our context starts right here. Not peace, but a sword. Do not think that I came to bring peace on earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to set a man against his father. That would be a son against a father. A daughter against her mother. And a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. I've come to separate families. I'm going to take those that are mine and pull them out. See, not everybody goes to heaven at the rapture. Believers do. Your actual converted believers do, but not everybody. Not everybody is a believer. And there are a lot of people who think they're Christians and they're not. That is a specific group of people that are going to be removed. And you may be the only one in your household that's actually saved. Other people in your household may think they are, or pretend they are, or fake they are, but they're not. Their awakening is going to happen after we're taken. Verse 36, and a man's enemies will be those of his own household. Jesus is making this very clear that we may not have to worry about our neighbors or our friends or even members of our own church. Our enemies are going to be within our own walls. What was his name? Charles Lawson. He's got a YouTube channel. He's got some really intense preachings that he does. But he's pretty good. He's in that situation right now. He's put up a few videos now. He's in a direct spiritual conflict right now in his own house. He's struggling. It's really hitting him hard. He's asked for a lot of prayer lately. He's almost to the point of just begging for help because he doesn't know what to do. A lot of us are in that boat. A lot of us are being hit spiritually. Is it no surprise that we would be in this state? That we would have these problems in our own house? Now, some of us don't have these problems. Some of us, it's every day. And a man's enemies will be those of his own household. So we shouldn't be surprised at this. He who loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. Christ first in all things. Listen, you love them more when you put Christ before them. And he who loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. You must put Jesus Christ first. It has to be that way. And he who does not take his cross and follow me, or follow after me, is not worthy of me. You know how you take up your cross? Get up and be a Christian every day. Get up and be an admitted, open believer in front of full view of everyone every day. Don't be ashamed of it. He who finds his life will lose it, and he who loses his life for my sake will find it. How many of us in our current situations might be in a state where we really don't have friends? We maybe don't have very good conversation with family members. Maybe we don't talk to very many family members. Maybe we struggle even having normal communication with anyone. The life he's talking about is this life. So most of us who are actual believers have really lost most of this life. Obviously, we got things we do. I've got a busy beginning of this week. My mom's getting a big giant carport put in, so I got to be out there and watch with the guys and help them out. I just had to go get 800 pounds of cinder block. And I did not unload it out of my truck. I backed my truck up, dropped the tailgate. Here they are. When they come Tuesday, they can have fun. I'm not unloading them. There's things we have to do. There's things we have to go and engage in. But here's the thing. The enemy is so subtle. He works behind the scenes. We never know when we're going to be out there and something's going to happen. In our daily activities, taking up our cross every day is us getting up every day and going and doing those everyday things and being a believer. Don't be ashamed of being a believer. Don't hide that you're a believer. Be a believer. Irregardless of what the world says, of what other people want, even your family members, if they say, I want you to stop talking about Jesus, I will never stop talking about Jesus. If your son or your daughter or your wife or your husband or whoever says, stop talking about Jesus, we don't want to hear about this. Just know that's supposed to happen. Jesus himself right here in these very verses is saying that. Your worst enemy may be sitting across the living room from you or the dinner table from you. And I'll tell you this, and I say this kind of quietly in my own house. You may not know who your enemy is, but when it comes down to whether or not they may have to suffer for keeping you being a Christian a secret, say they come for Christians in this country, and they will turn you in to save their own life. This is what Christ is talking about, to save your own life. Again, your enemy may be members of your own household. You may not know they're your enemy, and you may not be able to tell. But in their heart, they're your enemy. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if suddenly you find out. Don't be surprised. Let's say the Lord comes and we are changed and we do hang around for a day or two. And we're walking around and we're talking and visiting people and telling them what's going on. Maybe that could happen. Don't be surprised. And when we're changed, we won't be. If you get attacked. Now, they can't touch you, but they'll verbally attack you. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if they attack you for talking about the rapture. Don't be surprised if they just don't say anything, but inside they have a whole different view of things. So again, prepare your hearts. The Christian will be sure to make enemies. That is a given. I think it's John that says, if you seek to live a godly life, you will suffer persecution. It's John or Peter. It will be one of his objects to make none. We don't go make enemies, but if to do the right thing, and to believe the true Christ should cause him to lose every earthly friend, what do we just talk about? He will count it but a small loss, since his great friend in heaven will be yet more friendly and reveal himself to him more graciously than ever. I can tell you this, almost everybody I know has stopped talking to me because I'm a Christian. People I was extremely close friends with don't talk to me because I'm a Christian. And I don't talk about it in front of them when I do talk to them. I might mention the Lord once, but I don't get into theological discussions with them because I know they're not minded that. Their mind doesn't work that way. Almost every single person I know has stopped talking to me because of that. So when he talks in here in this devotion about losing friends, I know what that's like. Because I've known hundreds of people, almost none of them. I hear from almost none of them. And if I reach out to them, I don't hear back. And I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I love the Lord more. Because there's only one friend I have that has never betrayed me, that has accepted me in all of my inconsistencies and irregularities and shortcomings. He has accepted me 100%. That's what drew me to him. Acceptance. O ye who have taken up his cross, know ye not what your master said? Quote, I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and a man's foes shall be they of his own household. We just read that. Christ is the great peacemaker, but before peace, he brings war. Listen, a lot of times when he talks peace, he's talking about us being at peace. Have us having peace between us and him, not peace in our lives. And I know some of you have confessed issues you're having with different individuals. Some of you have not confessed issues you're having, but you're having them. And so you're hearing this and you know exactly what I'm talking about. Guys, it's no surprise as believers that this is what the case is. And here's the thing. Here's the amazing thing. That is also evidence of who we are. The fact that we have these problems. Look at the world. They don't have that problem. Let me tell you this. I will tell you this just as sure as I'm sitting here. Those people out there who are not Christians, they're not believers, and they're heathens and all this, and they're friends with everybody. I guarantee you, because I've listened to so many conversations that people thought I wasn't listening, and I overheard them, where they've talked about those people. The people they call friends, they hate them. They all hate each other. They don't care for each other. They don't love each other. It's for convenience. They use them for convenience, but they use us. We're more timid, and so it's easy for them to manipulate us, but none of them actually like each other. They will devour each other in a moment if they think that they can gain something by doing it. I know this for a fact. It's not in every single case, but it's in 99% of them. Christ is a great peacemaker, but before peace he brings war. Where the light cometh, the darkness must retire. Remember, I told you that. Darkness doesn't go away to make room for light. Light drives the darkness away. Where the truth is, the lie must flee. Or if it abideth, there must be a stern conflict, for the truth cannot and will not lower its standard, and the lie must be trodden underfoot. There is no agreeing to disagree. So many people love to say that. A lot of Muslims do. A lot of false Christians do. And people that preach false doctrine. Well, we'll have to agree to disagree. And I have told more than a few people to their face in conversations, well, I think we'll just have to agree to disagree. And I look them right in the eye and tell them, I will not agree to disagree with you. What you're telling people is wrong. What you're saying is wrong. There is no agreeing to disagree. You're wrong, and it's detrimental to you. You desperately need to understand this. I will not agree to disagree, because in order for me to agree to disagree with you on this, that's me placating the situation, and that's also me validating your false doctrine and what you're saying and believing is wrong. I will not do that, because I care about you too much to just validate you and make you feel good about yourself by agreeing to disagree. No, we are at disagreement, and we will stay that way until you change your mind. I've had those conversations. If you follow Christ, you shall have all the dogs of the world yelping at your heels. If you would live so as to stand the test of the last tribunal, depend upon it, the world will not speak well of you. He who has the friendship of the world is an enemy to God. The Lord's words. But if you are true and faithful to the Most High, men will resent your unflinching fidelity / integrity. I know this because I've experienced it firsthand, since it is a testimony against their iniquities. You just being a believer, not preaching to no one, not doing it, just being a believer and doing the right thing and being who you are, not going at odds with anybody, will offend them and cause them to come and attack you because they hate you, because you are what they cannot figure out how to be. You are what they should be, but they are unwilling to be that. I know this. I've dealt with it in almost every job I've had. I walk in, I have integrity. It happened in the Army. Walk in, you have real integrity. They will do everything they can to try to ruin you because you make them look bad. And I've had people tell me to my face, you make the rest of us look bad by being the way you are, because I was a Christian. It's so funny. It's almost like he's telling my life story here. Fearless of all consequences, you must do the right. You will need the courage of a lion, unhesitatingly to pursue a course which shall turn your best friend into your fiercest foe. But for the love of Jesus, you must be courageous. We must, even if they hate us. We must love them back. Now listen, you can love someone and not like them. I have a lot of people that I don't like. I love them. I love them dearly, but I don't like the kind of person they are. There's nothing in the Bible that says you have to like them. You can love them, but you have to love them, but you don't have to like them. And you don't have to just ignore what happens or let it go. You can speak your mind and tell the truth. This is probably what causes most of the problems between us and the rest of the world. Because we do speak our mind. And say, whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold on a second. That's not true. Again, I know because I've done it. For the truth's sake, to hazard reputation and affection is such a deed that to do it constantly, you will need a degree of moral principle which only the Spirit of God can work in you. Yet, turn not your back like a coward, but play the man. Follow right manfully in your master's steps, for he has traversed this rough way before you. Better a brief warfare and eternal rest than false peace and everlasting torment. A lot of people are going to find themselves in that place. Brothers and sisters, what difference does it make if the world around us likes us? We are going to eternity. What difference does it make if everything goes good here and we have peace with everyone here and we just get along? Let's all just get along here. What difference does it make when we will have an eternity of peace over there? And so it should be no skin off our nose if people get mad at us and get upset with us. They come up and they say, you've never said anything to offend me. You've never, done anything directly that's negatively affected me, but I don't like you because of the person you are. I say that way because that actually happened to me once. Tank came right up and told me flat to my face. Now, at that time, I was much younger and much more timid. I didn't know how to respond. Now, I would look him right back in the face and say, well, lucky for you, I don't care. That's exactly what I would tell him. Well, luckily for you, I don't care. I'm happy you voiced that. That doesn't change anything that we have to do here with what we're doing. Nothing at all. How you feel about me and I feel about you is irrelevant. What we're doing here, that's what needs to be focused on. So if you don't like me because of the kind of person I am, I'm okay with that. Don't care. That's your ideology. Keep it to yourself. I'm not interested. Because when you are indifferent to that type of stuff, they will not come and directly attack you. They will talk about you behind your back. And that is a form of persecution, by the way. And it happens a lot more than you may realize to you and to me and to all of us. So what difference does it make if we lose this life, when we gain all that is contained within the next one? And how do we know what is contained in that? By this one singular verse that says, it has not entered into the mind of man what God has laid up for him. That's exciting. Another verse says, at the right hand of God is pleasures forevermore. Again, don't be surprised. Settle it in your hearts. Prepare yourself in the event that you start to see, if you have never seen this openly, that you may see this openly. Prepare yourself for it. Be ready for it. I have the unique privilege and perspective of having had it happen straight to my face, of seeing people after a short period of time, and I'm different, and they have a strange way about them, a strange look on their face, and then I never hear from them again. People that I've done a lot for, people that I've developed a strong friendship with. People I served with. I only hear from probably 3 of the people I went to the Army with. One every now and then, another one every now and then, and then another one we talk on the phone every now and then. All of us have been through very similar circumstances, but a lot of the rest of them, and I have talked to them, I don't hear from them. Wonder why. When you're different, people don't want to be around you. They want people around them that will agree with them in the sin that they're doing and the things that they're doing and validate and confirm those things. They don't want people around them that are contrary to that. Even if you never say a word, they can sense it. They know something's different and they feel uncomfortable around you. And again, I've had the very unique perspective of being able to witness this and even have people say this openly to me and in front of me. So I know it's real. And so that's why I tell all of y'all, because of where I've come and the place I've come to, where I love them, but if they don't like me, I don't care. You don't have to like me for me to love you and care about you and want the best for you and pray for you, for the Lord to open your eyes. I would much rather you not like me, but I tell you the truth. And then you get to come to heaven and I can apologize to you there for being rough with you, than to like you and agree with you and make you feel good about yourself and then escort you right into the gates of hell. I'll take a hard pass on that, thanks. I would rather offend people into heaven than love them into hell. So if the people around you don't particularly like the fact that you're a Christian, that's okay. If they tell you they don't want to hear from you, some of you have told me that, your family members have said that, that's okay. Let them see you read the Bible. Let them hear you sing Psalms. Let them hear you, in the Bible, reading it out loud or listening to a video or a podcast or something. We're talking about that. Just passively. Let them see the difference in you and how the Lord is changing you. And then, every year you're more and more and more different, growing closer to Him. Let them see that. You don't have to say a word. Just you being a believer every day and living that way, living to glorify Him. You might convict them because you do the right thing when they want to do the wrong thing. But you doing that just might push them to the Lord. Because they may wake up one day and go, man, I want what they got. They're always at peace. They never hardly get upset about anything. They always seem to be content and happy with what they have. I want what they have. And they'll go to the Lord and get it. And that's another person coming to heaven. So we can all be together. Anyway, guys, thank you all for joining me for evening devotion. Don't sweat that stuff. Don't take it personally. It's not personal. Even though they may be very close to you, it's not a personal thing. Just don't be surprised by it, because the Lord told us that's probably what's going to happen. And just know that your prayers are being heard. And many of those people may not come in the rapture, but they'll come after the fact. So just because they don't go with us when the Lord comes and takes His church home, that doesn't mean they're not going to get saved. A lot of people are going to get saved after we're gone. A lot of people. So don't give up hope. But don't give in to what they want. Especially if it pertains to you being a Christian and they don't want you to be that way. They don't want you to act that way. You be a Christian in full view of everyone. If they don't like it, they can look away. Because Jesus Christ comes first. I love you all very much. I bless you all in Jesus' name, and I'll see you in the next video.